I mean, I'll have the convo now if he wants to. By the way, I'll talk to Ethan right now if he wants to. Oh, he said.
But okay.
He said that was way different than what I thought it was going to be.
I enjoyed that as a watcher.
Was I owned?
I don't think you were owned. I don't think anybody was owned. I think it was two people that are highly opinionated hashing it out. And I think I personally like when people do that.
Yeah,
I don't get turned off by the
they're
combative.
doing. Thank God we're having this
Maybe it's
open, free
that's
discourse.
That's the half Jewish part of me.
But the truthfully is like, again, on the larger points, we agree. That's why I take cross with this issue of being like, he's a genocide supporter. He's a baby killer and all this insane. He goes, Sam, you never heard of hyperbole? Yeah, I've heard of hyperbole.
You're the king of hyperbole.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, is my downfall that I have too much faith or I have too much optimism in the Israeli
He has too much
citizenry?
optimism for Israel. That's his downfall. It's because he's too kind, dude.
The most.
That was his downfall. He's too hopeful for a better tomorrow.
And I mean, Sam is older and, he's in his 50s or something. And so maybe he's just more jaded,
Dan,
yeah, he
stop.
definitely is more jaded.
Dan, have some
Decency,
decency.
and
Dan,
so, right?
Listen, dude, he needs you more than you need him. Just be honest.
The Jewish person,
he needs you more than you need him. You can be honest.
Shocked me.
Please be honest for the sake of Ethan. If you want to actually save your friend and your boss, be honest in this moment instead of constantly
when trying to
feeding into his narcissism.
To avoid
oh my
criticizing
God.
Hassan, which is fine. I understand he doesn't want to get into that game, right?
This makes me so sad because Dan was a fucking massive Hasan Abi head. Like I thought he was like a radical guy. I thought
obviously I greatly disagree with him. I think it's kind of
someone that Ethan trusts.
It's funny how he talks about how
real conversation with him.
To call out anti-Semitism or how ridiculous it is for me to weaponize it like that. It's like when at the same time,
it's a weird thing because you don't really want to like. I understand the impulse to just want to have a conversation with Sam and keep it with like the here and now of your beliefs and everything, but the degree to which the harassment that you and Hila have experienced over the last couple of years, like it is part of the story, and like.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. It's tricky because like I get the impulse to like not want to get into it, but like that is a component of all of this.
And unfortunately, whatever Sam's been peppered with before the debate, I've seen is his co-hosts telling him that I'm obsessed with Hassan, that I'm having a mental.
Yeah, you really
health
showed that
break,
you're not
that
obsessed by. Showing
all
clip
this
chimps of me to him to be like,
having
you
any
should
of the
disagree
backstory,
with
that's
it,
the flavor
putting
he's
words in
coming
my
with.
mouth.
But ultimately, I find I don't want to speak ill of Sam, right? Yeah, I appreciate him coming and having an honest conversation with me. I was also disappointed by his response to that specific line of questioning, Zach. I share that.
Ethan is focusing too much on
and
trying to win the debate instead of having a rational conversation with another human being.
Away anti-Semitism as like, it doesn't matter that people are discriminating against Jewish people in America because of what's happening in Gaza.
The fandom is starting to see it.
First of all,
and I'm
two
glad
different issues, kind of. Whatever's happening in Gaza is one thing, and whatever rise in anti-Semitism we're seeing in America is a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's connected to one another, though. It's connected to one another because of that dangerous conflation that Sam Seder tried to explain to you, Ethan.
Obviously,
the
one has
dangerous
an
conflation between Judaism,
horrible
Jews, and Zionism. That is precisely
Gaza
the reason why
right
anti-Semitism is
now.
skyrocketing
And
this country, as it always does whenever Israel does sieges. That is why attacking people like myself, who actually cut that dangerous conflation and never even give an inch to that dangerous conflation, should not be your enemy. It should be people that actually consistently say Zionism and Judaism are actually directly associated with one another. It is people like yourself, Ethan, that participate in this dangerous conflation, that feed into the anti-Semitic tendencies of people.
Anti-Semitism, what isn't, and when you're
there's never been a moment where I've considered anti-Semitism to be even remotely permissible. I have fought against anti-Semitism my whole career. I've been doxxed, swatted, and attacked and harassed by the same neo-Nazis that you seemingly find yourself comfortably aligned with now, Ethan. What the are you saying? Little old Israel over here. Oh no.
I didn't see it that way, but I'm
I'm not Jewish, so I found it interesting that you guys are having this conversation to give both perspectives. One thing I kind of wish is that you guys both could have defined
like, see,
what
these are the
Zionism
freaks.
is.
Those are the
like,
freaks.
Yeah.
because I feel like that's
These
a
are
big
the rabid freaks that come in
point
here
in
and
all
say
this.
some
I agree, and it's
fucked
such a
up
stupid
shit.
word. Because it has such a broad
And they
meaning.
get banned.
And like when,
Not only do
when
they get
Hasan
banned
says
instantly,
Zionist
but they get
tendencies,
banned off the
that's
fucking
why I think it's
platform for
important to
doing
ask
fuck
Sam,
shit like this.
who I think is
This
avoiding
not
the
an
question,
opinion
frankly,
that
because he knows that
this
it
is
looks
not an
bad. He
opinion that
doesn't want to
anyone
answer.
in this community
So
would
he
ever
responds by
fucking
saying,
abide by,
like,
even for an
you
inch,
think this
even for a
matters? Let's
second.
not talk about the specifics of what Zionist tendency is,
Scumbags.
because clearly Hasan's not anti-Semitic. Obviously, he doesn't have the
You've called me a
context. And by the
vile
way,
anti-Semite for a year.
I'm still willing to give Hasan the benefit of the doubt that he's not anti-Semitic, right?
What are you talking
But
about?
Once again, as I've stated,
You are?
yeah, I'm willing to.
Even
I'm
Dan is
willing
laughing
to,
because
but at
he's
this-
called me a
at
vile,
what I've said
rabid
previously
anti-Semite
is
for a
that,
year now. So gracious.
He's
You know
very
I'm not an
comfortable
anti-Semite.
fostering a community that is blatantly hateful and anti-Semitic. He's comfortable, expressing these ideas irresponsibly the way he communicates, which is what that clip displays, I think.
Oh my
So while I don't
God.
think he's anti-Semitic,
I'm
I think he's
irresponsible.
responsible
You're
for
irresponsible.
perpetuating a lot of it.
You're irresponsible with the ways in which you have defended Israel's actions by presenting it as like Hamas instigating this genocide. That is not only irresponsible, that is morally repugnant.
Because frankly,
We know what he
there's
means
really
with
nothing
Zionist tendency.
positive
What
to
do you
say
mean?
about what he did.
Zionism
And
is
so Sam
fascism.
took the I guess
Any
if you
tendency
want to talk
towards
about
Zionism
debate, and
is
Sam's
exactly
a great
the
debater,
same as
right?
a tendency towards fascism. That is what I believe.
Everybody knows that. He's a great conversationalist. He doesn't really get the best of. Nobody really gets the best of him in conversation.
Why is Ethan in
I mean, the
Breaking
only
Bad
way
right now?
he
He'd
could
just
really
rather
take that
stay
on was to be
silent?
like, it doesn't matter, in the totality of things. So that's the road he took. And
Hasan
I
is
was
fuming so
disappointed by
hard right
that
now.
as well.
Yeah, of course I'm fuming. I'm fuming
But
because
at the end of
my
the day,
fucking former podcast
I knew it
co-host
was
has
unlikely
slandered me
that
for a
he was
goddamn
gonna say
year,
a
trying to
bad
get me
thing about
deplatformed.
Hasan. I was
Got my friends
specifically trying
deplatformed.
not to
Got
even go
pro-Palestinian
there.
voices
In fact, when I showed him
deplatformed
that
at a
first
time
video of
when
me
the
talking
American
about-
fascist government is literally actively trying to revoke the First Amendment rights of all Americans inevitably by using Israel as a talking point, by using Israel as a way to enter the conversation, by using Israel to enter the precedent into the Constitution to completely erode people's First Amendment rights. This will not just harm people like myself. It will harm you as well in the end. This is my argument.
So here's what I'll say about Israel.
Now
okay?
he's just like talking about now he's just going to rewatch like how pro-Palestine he is to this audience that's watching. Of course I'm going to fume. The reason why I'm fuming is because he is doing Hasbara. The reason why I'm fuming is because even in his he tried to use this as an opportunity, thinking that he was going to actually agree with Sam Seder, that Sam Seder was going to be like, oh, wow, it seems like you're super pro-Palestine. Why are people calling you anti-Palestine? It seems like you might be getting attacked by anti-Semites. That's what he thought was going to happen. So he could use that clip on Friday. That was his big smoking gun. Okay? I assumed that was his big smoking gun, or maybe he was going to try to bring Dan Saltman on or Destiny on in the hopes that I get banned, which I will, by the way. If Dan Saltman or Destiny appears on Friday when we have this conversation, if Ethan is still willing and able to do it, I will get banned. He knows that, which is precisely the reason why I assume he will try to bring them forward, just as I called this initially, just as I called what was going to take place in this conversation initially. I'm telling you right now, if he tries to, oh my God, Sam Seder me, what a nightmare, with like a person that has been banned, I won't be able to have this conversation with him. I will have to exit out of this conversation because Twitch will absolutely ban me. I know for a fucking fact. Okay? So, no, I already have. I've already talked to my Twitch rep. I did. Shut the up. I did already. I know. They said, no, you will get banned. Do you understand? So, for that reason, if he tries some fuck shit like that, I assume this was a two-parter, okay? This was a two-parter. I suspect that he was initially going to try to get any clip that shows Sam Seder agreeing with him to be like, see, your ordained designated Jew agrees with me, or something along those lines, and then be like, why do you call me pro-Israel? Okay, that's what he thought he was going to be able to get. It didn't happen. So now I assume his second smoking gun is to probably bring up like Destiny or Dan Saltman with the hopes that I get banned. Because if I don't, If I don't back out of that conversation, I get banned. If I back out of that conversation when that happens, he will go, oh, you ran away from destiny. You're so scared. You're just like Steven Crowder. And that's the problem. Okay? He is going to try to present it. I'm telling you right now, if he tries to do some shit like that, that means he doesn't want to have a real conversation with me on this issue. That he's going to try to pull some shtick because he knows that he can't have this real conversation with me. Okay? Just like he thought that Sam Seder would agree with him, and then he realized that even in the most charitable pro-Palestine approach that he tried to present himself as, Sam was able to, without knowing anything else, Sam was able to recognize that no, there is a lot of defense for Israel here that is unconscionable, especially when we're comparing it to 16 months of endless bombing, child murder. He saw through Ethan.
I think that's part
and he didn't get what he wanted across. So now I think he's going to be petty and try to get me banned.
Look what happens
in an effort
when you
for
want
myself to
support
preserve
peace,
myself in this situation, and I back away, I click out when he does the destiny thing.
Right conclusion,
then
but
he's going to say, "Oh, you ran away."
All people that wanted peace were murdered by Hamas.
See, like I have, friends or family even that will say that they don't believe there's an innocent Israeli, and I think obviously stuff like that is super dangerous, and
I agree.
I'll never agree with that. But in terms of the Pew research is often what's referenced, and again, Sam brought that up, that there was only 19% of people.
Can't you do it offline? Are you insane? You think I would let Ethan control the narrative and manipulate the footage by doing it offline? No, of course I'm going to stream my side. Why would I do that? What are you guys talking about? No, dual streaming to YouTube is not the same, okay? And I can't get permission from the CEO. Contrary to what people think, Dan does not listen to my demands, okay? That's not a thing. They've already explained that I will get banned.
Do they want to end the war? I think this is I mean, yeah, it's disturbing, you know what I mean? But
yeah, he said Hamas could have ended the war if they released the hostages. Hamas did offer to release all hostages. Hamas says it will release all civilian hostages if IDF stops strikes. That was on October 17, 2023. This is from the Jerusalem Post, by the way. So understand, when he says all of these things about Israel, he doesn't know what the he's talking about. He's just not knowledgeable on this. This is the unfortunate reality, okay? In the most charitable estimation of the past year, if I'm making the most charitable assessment that is like literally impossibly charitable here, he simply doesn't know what he's talking about, and he has people in his ear that's constantly feeding him wrong information, and he's just regurgitating that because it pairs perfectly with his narcissistic tendencies. Ethan Klein has been a victim of anti-Semitic smears and anti-Semitic attacks his entire career. This is not something that I would ever, this is not something that is in dispute, okay? This is something that I know. This is something that I've brought up over and over again. Now he thinks the real anti-Semitic that he has received is now paired up with people who are anti-Zionist within his own community, and he can't let that go. He thinks all of this is a direct consequence of people saying that he's a Zionist because he's a Jew. Oh, I've said the right things. Why do you still get mad at me? I've said the right things. Why do you still get mad at me? I'm simply making a joke about Aaron Bushnell. I've said the right things. Why are you still getting mad at me? Why are you leaving my community? It must be because some guy is out there feeding information and radicalizing this audience, radicalizing my audience. It must be Hasan. And it's really interesting that he said this. Like he's inferred this, he's implied this over and over again. And for the first year after our podcast ended, up until October of last year, October of 2024, up until October of 2024, I consistently defended Ethan up until he started going after actively and getting and successfully deplatforming pro-Palestinian advocates. I did not say a single thing. I defended him because I didn't know. I thought his initial October 7 response was sufficient. I thought he probably has a little bit of liberal Zionism in him, okay? But he is amenable. He is someone who has a heart. He is open-minded. He is open-minded to someone like myself who I believe he trusts. And I was wrong. He was not open-minded to this position at all. I thought I could move him from having like a squishy liberal Zionist position to basically someone who was a anti-Zionist. You know, Hasan, just show up Friday, bro.
That both are important. And
Hasan's
obviously,
going to show.
again,
Of course,
the
I'm going to
totality
show.
of what's happening in Gaza is not in dispute about
Hasan
which
is
is
not
like
coming
more.
Friday. What do you mean?
But I do think that it's important, and I care about Israel, and I care about Israelis. You know, that's it. And so I choose to see the good, and to see the optimistic, and like obviously I have no effect over what the public thinks about the war. I'm not living there. I'm not. When I was living there, I voted against Netanyahu.
Please don't try to bring a banned person.
And by the way,
on.
Netanyahu lost the popular vote. He only won because he made a coalition with some psychopath.
Hasan is a
like,
fake. Hasan, stop telling your chat we
ultranationalists.
Destiny. Please don't try to bring a banned
the
person
left party,
on.
when I voted, won the popular
because
vote.
I will
because
get
of the
banned.
parliamentary system where you make coalitions
We'll
to get
have
over
to
50%.
leave the conversation.
They were unable to secure the victory.
I think Netanyahu may be the devil. Like, honestly, even his voice, I think he may be the devil.
Why the f am I a
He's just
paid member,
passing
by the
out
way? How does this
beepers
work?
to
Did they give
everyone.
me
He
like a
gave
lifetime
the
paid
gold beepers
membership?
That's
Trump.
dude. That's so fucked
He gave
up.
one to a senator. And
I
No,
think
hey,
that's
Destiny,
so
Hasan,
or
I still
congressman.
think
I
you're a
forget
good
who it was.
person.
He's
You
like,
just
yo,
ruined
it was
your
it
relationship
was
by not
John
moderating
Fetterman.
anti-Semitic
yeah, he's like, yo, that was
community.
dope when you guys did that. I have a
That's
family
crazy.
friend
That's-
whose
yeah.
son had a beeper go through his stomach, like, and it's his.
I just
crazy.
don't.
The president's like taking a picture with
I didn't
the
even bring up
I don't
Destiny.
think-
I said a banned
just like
person. Dan
idol-
Saltman is also a banned person. Looking for the anti-Semitism in this community. Anyway, look at this. Look at these freaks. Was on party with a Diddy at a brothel. What the f is this statement, dude? These people are brain broken.
But ultimately, I think that's ultimately
How
where
about Boner Box? I mean, I don't care about that. He's not banned, so who gives a shit? I assume he will. I don't think he's gonna have this conversation with me directly. Okay, I don't think he's gonna have this conversation with me directly. I think he's gonna try and desperately bring someone else on to either get me banned or to have this conversation in his stead, because he knows that this conversation will not be this conversation will not go in his direction, will not go the way he wants it to. Every time they claim there's anti-Semitism in this community, they're always conflating it with and referencing anti-Zionism. I know.
hypothetically typing in our chat again.
Wait, what do you mean?
I can talk now or Friday. I don't care. Up to you. Please don't try to bring a band. Bro, don't worry. I'm not doing that. You're afraid I'm going to bring on Destiny? That's stupid. I'm not going to do that.
Stop.
I promise you, Hasan.
It's not just Destiny. It's Dan
not bring on
Saltman as well.
Destiny.
He's
In
also
fact, the people
banned.
here will not allow me to bring on Destiny.
Fuck no.
I'm
no
interested,
Dan
Hasan, in
Saltman
being
either.
honest.
And it's not because
You know,
I'm
I'm gonna
afraid of
take
them.
that-
I can't. I will get banned. I need people to understand. This is because I will get banned. If he brings on Sam Hyde or Dan Saltman or Destiny, I will get banned instantly. Okay? And I didn't even name Destiny in that. The reason why I said don't bring a banned person on was because I don't want him to bring any banned person on and do some shit to try to get me banned. Okay?
Wait, and this is why I prefaced what I was saying was I'm not an expert. Finding polling, I was wrong saying that support for a two-state solution was at a high. It looks like it kind of plateaued around 55% throughout the 2010s, but it was at a high in 2010 of 71% of Israelis supported a two-state solution. It looks like that number is now in.
Please clarify why you would get banned from Papa Twitch. Because Twitch has a very hard policy. Twitch is a platform that actually rigorously applies its terms of service. And because of that reason, I've been banned for silly shit like saying cracker in the past, right? And like when Aiden Ross was banned, for example, if someone were to have him on their stream, they would get banned. If Aiden Ross was in a YouTube video that someone was watching, they wouldn't get banned. In the past, they would have, but Twitch changed that policy. Not a permaban, though, more of a suspension. Yeah, but why the f would I entertain that, dude? What are you talking about? It's considered ban evasion, okay? It's considered ban evasion to have a banned streamer on your stream, to talk to a banned streamer. The chatter you pulled up earlier for being a Nazi was nuked off the website permanently about 30 seconds later for your information. So much for this community plus the Twitch platform allowing anti-Semitism. Exactly. But, you know, that was a productive conversation from our perspective, and I hope it was productive for some in Ethan's community to actually see that, because I saw posts about people saying like, oh, Ethan and Sam Seder should just join up in arms and attack Hasan. Like, they were so delusional. And the question here, this is a very important jump off point for many of you. Okay? This is a very important jump off point. If you're in here from Ethan's community, why did you have that perspective? What have you consumed so far, and how sheltered were you from the truth that you thought that someone like myself and someone like Sam Seder would not be almost entirely aligned on this issue? You have to remember. You have to think about that. This is a moment of self-reflection, because many people I saw in his community were like, oh, dude, yeah, Sam Seder is going to actually, agree with Ethan completely. And then they're going to move on to like attack Hasan together. Maybe Ethan can use Sam Seder to criticize Hasan. And if you thought that, then you were completely oblivious to his perspective. So why? Why did you think that? I know why you thought that. You thought that because Ethan has been presenting a false narrative. He's been presenting a false narrative about me, as he tried to do against Sam Seder as well. And he has presented a false narrative about Sam Seder as well. It's ridiculous. Self-reflect, please. What's the false narrative? Well, the number one false narrative is one that he already backtracked in the aftermath of this conversation, where he says, oh, maybe Hasan is not an anti-Semite, but he actually allows anti-Semitism or something. And that's like a new meta. He has called me a vile, vicious, rabid anti-Semite over and over again, knowing full well that I do not have an anti-Semitic bone in my body. And it's ironically enough that I'm being called an anti-Semite by him, while for specifically my advocacy against anti-Semitism. Every time I am decoupling Israel, Zionism, and Judaism, I'm actually working against anti-Semitism. Every time Ethan brings that conversation back to, well, all Jews are Zionists, he is making that dangerous conflation that is creating more anti-Semitism. No, that was the only point he had since the beginning. His last year of harassment has been for nothing. He's using the same initial argument. He literally has said you would call Jews the K word if you could. Yeah, it's insane. It's so insane. And even in the clip that he's bringing up, like, I'm literally saying, regardless of background, looks like someone attended a Hasan 101 seminar. This whole debate is so Hasan coded, and the fact he's getting agitated shows he doesn't like being challenged. Please, I really, really hope, given that Ethan presented this initially as a person that was going to 100% agree with him, I hope that his community, this is like their last shot, I think, of like seeing, like, coming back to reality and not falling into this like complete, this very narrow focused pro-Israel but kind of anti-Israel attitude that Ethan keeps reflecting. Honestly, they're kind of glazing you. They're attributing all of this as if it's your original thoughts, like you invented anti-Zionist talking points. I know. That's what's so crazy. Ethan Klein is going to have a conversation with Avi Shleim or Elon Pape, and they're going to be like, Elon Pape got brainwashed by Hasan. He wrote the book. I'm brainwashed by him. Okay? Like, it's so stupid. Like, there were so many moments in that conversation where I think Sam could have been way more vicious if it wasn't Ethan and someone else, and there simply wasn't enough time, like the bomb shelter.
Not a single dissenting voice with him straight up radical, anti-American, anti-Semitic.
Bro, I can't believe this man went from dunking on Steven Crowder to saying Steven Crowder as he's anti-American, radical anti-American.
Now, instead of actually addressing a single point, he stops it before he gets there.
Lol, Ethan owns Sam, to be honest. I love that. Listen, I'm proud of you. And I think your family is proud of you too, that you are finally able to dress yourself on your own, and you were able to actually open up an account all on your own and be able to type those words together. I'm proud of you. No, this is a moment that deserves praise and congratulations. Okay. Clearly, since the car crash, things were not the same for you, but it seems like you're making great improvements. I mean, it's kind of funny that you're, openly demonstrating that, but it's cool. It's cool that you've done it. You are able to type this stuff on your own, all on your own, without anybody else. Where's your pearls at? Okay, well, you kind of failed on the second point, didn't you? You wrote it correctly the first time, and then all of a sudden, communist, champagne, socialist, Lamau. Okay. You got it. You're good. I'm proud of you. Again, you're showing that you can even react in real time. Bro, I like your content, but you're in the wrong on this. And Ethan made some good points. They attacked a fence. Israel is practically groomed into doing a genocide. Yeah, I know. He's blaming you right now for his failure. Ain't no way, dude. Stop. He's still talking about me. What the due to their incredible anti-Semitic opinions, and that he is simply misunderstood. He's back to the clip compies. Hold on, I gotta pee. And that he agrees with everything that Sam Seder says wholeheartedly. And Sam, being the kind and gentle being that he is, will not push super hard to really figure out what Ethan's worldview looks like.
He could
not have been more wrong.
Yeah, he could not have been more wrong. And by the way, he got to stop making predictions because those don't work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, just objectively, that is the opposite of what played out. So,
but I laugh because he's trying to poison the well ahead of me and Sam agreeing on everything. Although Sam was not very sweet and lovely, he came out ready to go, and that's good. I'm always ready. But I'll tell you guys, I am brave.
Yeah, you've sold us.
I mean, who would go against Sam Seder willingly, Dan?
Not Steven Crowder. That's when
Crowder's been running his whole life.
Obviously not that one.
I'm not running from nothing or nobody.
It ruined Crowder's life.
Carry the load. What?
I said it ruined Crowder's life. Literally, since he did that debate.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I wasn't kidding when I said we ruined his life.
It was funny because at one point Sam took off his glasses and said, "Steven, look into the camera." He's like, "From here on out, it's all downhill for you."
That's crazy that was true.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't have predicted that there'd be a scandal where he's abusing his wife on camera.
Right.
But he went from getting a $50 million deal on the table to being like a nobody.
Yeah. No, that doesn't work either.
Doesn't work either.
Watch it.
What if? Like anyway, yeah. So, here's Hasan.
You've been running away from him. Yeah, I wonder why Ethan Klein won't talk to Sam Seder. Just like he was too scared to talk to Sam Seder in private. I'm not running. I'm not ducking Ethan at all. I'll talk to him. Maybe I'll even have Sam Seder attend.
This just happened like 10 minutes ago.
Right, yeah.
Perhaps this is why my former podcast host is too afraid to talk to Sam Seder. Oh my God, bro. This obsession.
Wait, what is he saying? Is he showing how brave he is? It took a year for him to finally talk to Sam Seder.
There it is. You got what you wanted, and the people are feasting, watching two Jewish men duke it out about
Wait, it took this motherfucker a year, and he got destroyed. What is this?
We agree on everything.
Bro. Oh, my God.
Hey.
Oh, boy, this doesn't look like it went good, but I don't know if Chad can be trusted. No offense.
A lot of people to this, huh? 50,000.
He said Sam agreed with everything. Does he not know? Does he not know that Sam Seder is a whole ass adult with a public profile who will see him just simply saying this stuff? Oh, the cope, man. He literally is saying that him and Sam Seder agree with everything. Yeah, the cope here is what? Only going to be entertained? Only going to be entertained for a brief moment? Is that what it is? That video was about how he should talk to you, and he only showed you mentioning Sam. I know. He said you were wrong about Sam being nice to him. I think Sam was very nice to him. What? Okay, I think people need to understand something. That was kitty gloves from Sam. Sam also is not like a contentious person. When he debates libertarians, some of the stupidest people on the planet, he will still maintain that same calm demeanor. There's very few instances where I've seen Sam like get rattled. One was against Tim Pool, and the other was unironically against Ethan at a certain point where he was like, "Why are you consistently conflating Judaism and Zionism?" Meanwhile, his chat is calling Sam a terror supporter. Wait, what? Sam is a terror supporter, but you, Ethan, need to do your homework. So much of what he said was pure lies. Okay, I'm sorry, but this has to be someone from Israel. Like, this sounds like someone. He's a supporter of terror. I felt particularly bothered by Ethan's constant "I agree with you" nonsense because it completely neuters the actual critique Sam was attempting to levy. Like, how do you argue with someone when every valid rebuttal is just met with "I agree" and then completely reverted right afterwards? You can't get anywhere. I know. Ethan Klein is doing something that is incredible in this conversation. And what he's doing, it is shekels. Okay. Well, I didn't realize that was the sign for shekel, but I could just tell from the way that he dress down Sam Seder, being like, he's a terror supporter. But you, Ethan, need to do your homework. So much of what he said was pure lies. That's why I'm saying most of his audience left. These are the people that came to him for the Zionism at this point. A bit ago, Ethan said him and Sam talked about immaterial topics because they talked about the genocide instead of Hasan. Yeah. They had to agree to disagree on whether or not criticism of Zionism is anti-Semitic. Lol. That is the entire argument for the smear campaign. Yes. So as long as Sam understands is better than anybody else because he is who he is, he's had opinions that has changed throughout time. And for that very purpose, he understands better than anybody else. I've had private conversations with Sam throughout the past year, not about Ethan, by the way, but just in general about what to do in our personal lives where we have friends, people that we are close to that can find themselves in the throes of radicalization in the aftermath of October 7th, specifically Jewish people. Okay? This is something that I've talked to a lot of my Jewish friends about in general. My anti-Zionist Jewish friends are also going through the exact same issues with people that cannot let go of the social conditioning of Zionism, cannot let go of the idea that Zionism is actually supposed to be for good. It's like this good idea, not a bad one, because it undermines everything. It undermines everything I've known. It undermines everything I've learned my whole life. If I were to re-examine my relationship with Zionism, I have to re-examine everything, which is why Sam was so nice. It's very difficult. It is very difficult. That's why if you listen to anti-Zionist Jews, they talk about this all the time. That's precisely the reason why I had, as one of Twitch's leading Jews, OG gamer, professional racist, America First, finest groypers in the Legion of Kekistan have been telling me to get in an oven for the last 20 years online, but I haven't felt true anti-Semitism on the internet until Hasan Abi started flaunting his massive MAGA pecs in my face. Not cool, dog. Slasher. Bro, they're gonna clip this and be like, Slasher, Jewish journalist Slasher agrees Hasan is anti-Semitic. Oh no. It's no wonder Sam got so passionate. Lillard puts up with the conflation of Jewishness with Zionism every day. Yeah, so here's the issue. They're doing the Hasan flew into private jet to Coachella criticism right now. He's sauceless. Sorry for being this kind of chatter right now. I'm stunned at how stupid Ethan is. Yeah. I don't care about any of that shit. He can keep smearing me all day, every day. Okay, that's whatever. He needs to feed. He basically needs to feed people with something. He feels like a bruised little bird. Okay, he feels like a bruised bird, and he's licking his wounds, and he has to give red meat to his audience and be like, no, guys, Hasan is still bad. Okay. Are you going to talk to him about the drama or stick to Israel-Palestine? What do you think? Do you think I'm in the business of trying to talk about drama? Do you think I want to talk to him about drama? No. It's true that 56% of Israeli support ending the war for the hostages as of last week's Channel 11 poll. Meanwhile, the coalition is practically unstoppable mandate of 68 seats as Bibi consolidates power. How is the conclusion here not the world should pressure Israel externally to end the war? What is Ethan's point? He has no point, time without an OO, as you probably have gotten at this point. His point is, I need to defend... What? Okay, everybody shut up. His point is, I need to defend my position. I'm dug too deep. I've dug in too deep. I don't want to do self-reflection. I don't want to change course. This was his opportunity to try and desperately change the trajectory by being like, see, Sam Seder agrees with me. Look at how, look at the way Sam Seder agrees with me, and then try to end this arc in his content, because he only sees people as toys to play with or content to be consumed. And it's mostly just trying to desperately belittle him, belittle others in the process. Thank you, Sam Seder. Now shut the up, Ethan. You are not the victim. Yeah, there were so many moments in that conversation where he basically brought up, from the POV of someone who doesn't care about Ethan, why are you open to debate him? Because Ethan Klein at this point he had 50,000 people listening to him talk to Sam Seder. And you saw the audience. He is a sizable content creator with a platform, and he's using every waking moment of that platform talking about Israel to basically attack pro-Palestinian voices, advocates. And he's getting a lot of attention from the other slop tubers as well. And the unfortunate reality is a lot of these apolitical slop tubers, okay, that present themselves as apolitical centrists or whatever, they do have a capacity to change people's minds, because a lot of dumb people just kind of want to watch a YouTube drama video and get their notes from that. Okay? Ethan is exposing you for flying private with David Dobrik. What are you talking about? This is not an expose. This is something that I have talked about, something that we've memed about a million times over. This is not an expose. This is what I mean. This is the remaining fan base that Ethan has, is like people that only care about this drama shit. But in that process, while they're getting all this drama shit, they're also developing a false narrative. They're also developing a false reality of how things are. There were a couple key moments that instantly like triggered my Hasbro alarms. Like, I'll have you know, Sam, there's not a single public bomb shelter in Gaza. Like, what the are you talking about? What do you think a bunker buster does to a goddamn bomb shelter? If he ain't ending the stream, no reason he can't hop on a call right now. Oh, I agree. I don't know why he doesn't want to have a call now. I don't know why you spend so much time on Ethan. As I've said already, treat this as if Asmongold is doing this kind of Hasbro. Okay? Treat this as if Ben Shapiro is doing this kind of Hasbro. Except Ben Shapiro has no motion right now. Ethan has more motion than Ben Shapiro. That's it. Like, look at how excited he got to deliver this talking point, as though Sam hasn't ever heard this before. As though people who are pro-Palestine have not heard this a million times over.
By the way, just there's not one.
Wait, hold on. If he's, dude, at this point, if he's still watching clips of me, why don't you just talk to me in person? What is happening? Like, what is he doing here? Let's see. I'm gonna DM in the chat. I'm gonna say, hey man, since you talked to Sam, I think we could have a more productive convo now, since you seemingly have enough time to watch clips of me. Definitely down to do it Friday, though. Peace and love. That's what I said. I said, hey man, since you talked to Sam, I think we can have a more productive convo now, since you seemingly have enough time to watch clips of me. Definitely down to do it Friday, though. Peace and love.
Are we using the term master bedroom?
Are we using the term master bedroom?
I just say it's my room.
Yeah, I think a master sword.
Too much passive aggressiveness, I think? No, it's good. He plans to Friday. You're already talking on Friday. Hasan, please get to covering the news. Okay, that's true. I probably should do that. Get off your high horse. Bet you still haven't watched the nuke, hypocrite. Oh, he saw it, I think.
In Marvel Rivals right now. Does that mean
that's up, love?
Oh.
Wait, you're past Celestial?
No, the season reset. So I'm in a lower rank now.
He got knocked back down.
Oh, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
So we're looking like about 26% say no, to 74% say yes.
I love our audience. You guys, you're very reasonable.
Bing bong. Do you think it's okay to call it a master bedroom? I think it's fine.
Some of this, unless you can show me evidence otherwise that it is like comes from racism. I am sleeping in my master bedroom. God damn it.
Fair enough. We'll have to.
All right, never mind. They're gonna avoid it.
I'll take it up with customer.
Damn.
Customer support. It's serious.
All right, whatever. You read the whole thing and is ignoring you? Yeah. Not sure it's reached your media, but recent reports of Hebrew military correspondents indicated military is pushing for a ground invasion of the famous Al-Mawazi humanitarian zone. 10,000 reservniks will be called in to take over positions in the West Bank, Lebanon, and Syria so that conscripts can take over in Gaza. This is huge and will be a massacre. Yeah. They're pretending it didn't happen. It's all good. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they didn't see it. Be charitable. Anyway, let's take a look at this.
By the way, just there's not
this right here in front of a massive audience, for the record. This right here in front of a massive audience should be treated exactly as a defense of Israel, because that's precisely what it is. Okay, and that is the reason why I treat it as though he is basically like a random person with a massive audience that is, as soon as you click the way he goes back to reacting to your clips, that's crazy. Aren't you letting 100K people watch Ethan spread his delusions instead of addressing the core? What do you mean? I am. I'm doing it right now.
Not one bomb shelter, public bomb shelter in Gaza.
There's not one public bomb shelter in Gaza?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I just think that's interesting. It's pretty up, don't you think?
Do I think it's up?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand the point. Like,
well, I mean,
do you think anything would be standing anymore?
Well, bomb shelters are underground. I mean,
there's a couple reasons as to why there's no public bomb shelters in Gaza. Number one, Israel has no interest in letting any standing structure exist in the Gaza Strip, as they have shown time and time again, because they can just simply say there's Hamas in those mosques, there's Hamas in those hospitals, there's Hamas in those schools, there's Hamas in the UNRWA facilities, there's Hamas inside of the food and grain storage facilities. So having a bomb shelter is basically just putting another crosshair. The notion that being underground will actually preserve you, will save you from being bombed is also ridiculous, considering that a bunker buster can absolutely eviscerate a goddamn bomb shelter.
I mean, they would definitely be a lot safer.
I've seen what happened to tunnels under hospitals.
Your statement is...
And then he thought, oh, gotcha, tunnels under hospitals. Look.
Oh, there was... So you say there were tunnels under hospitals?
No one denies that there are tunnels under hospitals, Ethan. What the f are you talking about? There's tunnels under everything, okay? If you're talking about Al-Shifa, which he probably doesn't know the name of the hospital either, and I think Sam can't even recall the name of the hospital in this situation, then yeah, those hospitals were built by Israel.
Hospitals.
Israel
the tunnels were built by Israel.
Built the ones under the first one that they went into. They built it when they were occupying Gaza.
Are you right? That's true of that one. But I mean, they have a vast tunnel network, obviously, as everybody knows. But I don't care. I don't want to get into the weeds on this.
Oh, he doesn't want to get into the weeds on this. He just backs away. Ay. Oh, that whole conversation was like a sophomore in college trying to own a full professor. It was downright embarrassing for E, but he'll never admit it. Yeah. No, I think that a lot of people in his fan base will probably say something along the lines of like, no, you did so good, King. Like, you did such a great job. You did such a great job holding your own against Unk. Dude, this is also my favorite response so far. Look, Oliver posts, Mewen, what are words? Ethan is so dumb, I feel bad for Unk. In what way? Sam couldn't concede that maybe Israelis aren't evil who want all Palestinians to die, Lamau, is a terrible argument, especially considering this is an American making the point. A country full of the most warmonger evil people. I think if the H3 fans don't brigade majority report, that's an admission that he got cooked, I think. No, they will brigade regardless. I was worried Ethan would manage to hide his views since Sam isn't a very online person, but I didn't think it would go this bad for E. Yeah, because he buckled in the first sign of resistance. He literally he couldn't like keep up the act that he is like pro-Palestine, because the reality of the matter is, if every single time Ethan wanted to talk about this issue, he just basically rehashed what he said on October 8th or whatever the first leftover episodes was. If he just kept saying that, no one would think he's a fucking pro-Israel guy. They would just be like, yeah, dude, we've heard this a million times already, but yeah, you're clearly not pro-Israel. We get it. Okay? But that's the problem. He showed that video and then very quickly betrayed that video by telling Sam, displaying to Sam what his actual current opinion is by, refusing to concede on key points that he would not agree to. He kept saying that he and Sam agreed on everything. Yeah, he's trying to lie. He's trying to lie to his audience to preserve his own sense of dignity. Okay? That's it. He really thought Ethan talking about command center under hospitals, but with Sam, he changed it to tunnels. Yeah. This was Ethan's initial perspective on why Israel must bomb these hospitals.
I mean, listen, I feel like this is a force that's going to help end the war, not fucking keeping hostages and underground and like continuing to provoke Israel to attack them and putting fucking like military complexes under hospitals. its own people for political gain is lying to themselves, dude. Holy shit. They literally put fucking command centers under hospitals. That's not even debated.
Yeah. So if he thinks that he could just like keep saying, if he thinks that he can keep saying like, oh, Sam and I agreed on everything. Sam and I agreed on everything when he couldn't even keep up the appearance in that very moment where obviously that back and forth was didn't go down the way he thought it would, which he recognized and admitted to. I don't know why he keeps saying Sam and I agree on everything. So far, Sam Seder's gotten Ethan to agree with everything he said about Israel and reveal it's all about Ethan's personal grievances with Hasan. Unreal. This was in the beginning of the conversation in the first half hour. It fell apart quickly after that, ironically enough. But the reality of the matter is that he's not able to maintain that position because it's so inconsistent, and ultimately someone who is more knowledgeable over his positions or what he has said in the past, as opposed to Sam Seder, that at least has the same level of like basic humanity in terms of recognizing the humanity of Palestinians. Yeah, they would make light work of him. All right, should I make a list of things Ethan has said over the past year and ask him, do you still believe the statement? Don't give him any weasel room. When Ethan demanded you bring up in the conversation, then wanted to change the subject once Sam began cooking. Yeah. So